An office manager blows the whistle on a powerful doctor accused of prescribing chemotherapy to patients who don't have cancer.
He says the oncologist lied to more than 500 patients he treated. Whistleblower host Alex Ferrer has a preview.
I couldn't believe what was in front of me. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
George Wragge took a new job in 2011.
I was an office manager for an oncology practice.
Dr. Fareed Fata had a rapidly expanding practice in suburban Detroit. But within 2 years, one of the other oncologists and 2 nurse practitioners announced they were leaving. Wragge confronted that other oncologist.
Are you leaving? And he said, yes.
What the doctor told George Wragge about Dr. Fata was a bombshell.
Patients were given chemotherapy when they didn't have cancer.
Robert Sobere was referred to Dr. Fata by his back surgeon. Dr. Fata did a bone marrow biopsy.
2 weeks later, he turned around and said, "You got multiple myeloma. It's a blood cancer."
He began monthly chemotherapy infusions.
The chemotherapy eventually destroyed all my teeth.
Sobere went to see a different oncologist. He was shaken by what he heard.
And he says, "I've seen both biopsies. There's nothing that says that you had cancer anywhere in there." I was shocked. It was worse than hearing that you have cancer.
His head spinning, George contacted an attorney he knew who handled whistleblower cases.
That was beyond fraud. It was cruel. It was criminal.
George Wragge was willing to put everything on the line.
My job was at stake, my livelihood, even my own personal safety. I had to make it stop, and I had to make it stop quickly. I'm George Wragge, and I'm a whistleblower.
Alex Ferrer joins us now. Can you talk more about how this fraud was first discovered?
Yeah, you can imagine how difficult it would be to discover, because doctors who work in private practice really have little to no oversight by anybody, and especially when the doctor, like Dr. Fata, is providing the chemotherapy in his own office. There's nobody really seeing what he's doing. There's nobody there to question him. And it just so happens this particular doctor was on the top of the oncological field. He was looked at as a preeminent physician, so nobody would ever question his decisions. Meanwhile, as you heard, he was fleecing and treating over 550 patients who didn't have cancer, who he diagnosed, or who didn't need the chemotherapy, who he diagnosed as having cancer. Imagine having to go tell your family that you could die, that you have cancer, that you need treatment, your wife, your kids, going through it with you, your employers and friends, going through the chemotherapy, which is so destructive. But, you know, if it's saving your life, that's one thing. And then finding out that you never had it, that the doctor diagnosed you with cancer only because he wanted to add thousands of dollars into his bank account for every one of your treatments. Some of these patients he gave chemotherapy for years, not months, for years, because he told them it was an effective treatment that he used.
Yeah, to think that he did this to over 500 people is incredible. So what happened after George's attorney contacted the DOJ?
So here's the interesting thing. You've got, as George describes it, a burning building with people inside. Normally, it takes the Department of Justice a couple of years, up to a couple of years, to decide if they want to join a whistleblower case. They didn't have that luxury. Here you have patients walking in the door every day getting chemotherapy that they may not need. So over a 5-day period, numerous agencies of the government met with George. He turned over financial and medical records, and they arrested him 5 days later, and the case took off.
All right, Alex, thank you very much. Incredible. And you can watch Whistleblower tonight right here on CBS 2 at 8 o'clock.